Okay, and we are live again on AetherCon. And you're quite welcome there, Adam. We do have Adam Daigle from Paizo and Tavis Allison from the Mulebides. This is going to be a general Q&A session about freelance writing and developing, and we will be pulling any questions from the audience for Adam to answer.
I'll go ahead and start with a question, unless you've got some queued up.
Current question posed is, Adam, how did you get started as a developer? Adam replies, I got started as a developer when was asked to see if I'd like the job. I applied a couple years back, but I wasn't quite there yet. That's when Paizo hired Rob and Kearney. So a year after that, they had another opening, and Wes called me up. But at that time, it wasn't a good time to move across the country for me. Fast forward to this past February, Wes called me again. And quite frankly, now is a good.
Eric, your voice is breaking up a little bit. Do you hear me all right? So I'll pick up the... So while Eric's voice is out, I'll go ahead and do the voiceover. What we're reading in the chat here is that Adam says that fast forward to this past February, Wes called me again asking if now is a good time. Quite frankly, I was hating my current job, so I replied, yes, now is a great time. So I packed up my life into a truck and headed west. I had noticed that Ron McCreary got his start from RPG Superstar, which is a sort of pathway into the business that Paizo created. And Adam confirms that Rob got into freelancing with RPG Superstar while he was teaching in Prague. So the thing that I'm curious about, and we'll type about here, is what the background is for a developer as separate from an editor, or as separate from a designer. And the RPG Superstar, which is a competition where you submit pieces of design, seems to me something that, you know, taps your design skills. And so I'm curious about the role of a designer in general, or a developer. And I'm hoping that Adam can elucidate that for us. Adam says that a developer wears a couple of hats. Well, a designer makes the rules, a developer farms that work to freelancers, then receives the manuscript, and then makes sure if it fits what we need it to fit. Some of it's just a long-time love of writing and gaming, Adam says, but the bulk of what I use every day at work came from writing for Paizo and various other publishers over the last 5 years. So I'm asking whether Adam develops for a specific product line or if he's a generalist at Paizo. Adam says, my main job function is working on the adventure path line. I'm in charge of everything that isn't the adventure. So all the back articles, the monsters in the bestiary, and all the little fiddly bits that most people don't pay much attention to. However, that doesn't take up all my time, so I also develop books in our campaign setting line and our player companion line. Says Rob and James are the ones in charge of the adventures in the Adventure Path line, so it's just we three that make up Team Adventure Path, as we sometimes call it. I'm asking. Eric, how's your sound and voice doing?
It seems to be better. Are you able to hear me currently?
Are you able to hear me currently?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Okay.
Currently awaiting apply to how many developers does Paizo have on staff?
Does Paizo have on staff?
Adam says, well, a few of us cross the line between editor and developer, such as Patrick. But those of us that have developer in our title are just 4, maybe 5. This is also development work. And technically, all the guys on the design team develop the rules material. They farm out freelancers. So here I'm asking Adam how much separation there is between the design and development process at Paizo. As a freelancer for Wizards, which is not always the best way to know what's going on, but it seemed like they had design and development as 2 separate things, like a bicameral system where by not talking directly to each other, they could have a check and balance on one another.
Adam replies, we are very collaborative in our pro company and we all sit close to each other. So it's not uncommon for me to get up and go into Sean's office a number of times a day to get his feel for something or to ask him for a clarification on a strange corner case rule.
Here I'm asking whether all development's done in-house, and I was thinking of Paizo, but I guess the question applies throughout the industry. And I've never heard of somebody doing freelance developing, which I guess would make sense if it's a job that involves this coordination with the product line and the overall vision for the company.
Adam replies, yep, it is all done here. It's important for us to make sure that a product is what we want. I don't think we could get that by sending it to a freelancer. Awaiting reply. And to add to that, there is a lot of continuity to our game world. And as we put out more and more products, keeping all that in line grows even more important, which is understandable with such a setting. Current question posed is how does one go about keeping the continuity between authors and these products consistent as a one whole effort?
So Adam replies, mainly it comes down to knowing the campaign setting really, really, really well. You have to make sure that when a freelancer name drops someone, that it actually matches up with what we previously published about them. So that the key thing for keeping continuity between authors and products is knowledge of the setting that you're integrating. Mark, one of our best continuity, he sits next to me, right next to me. So here I'm saying that one of the Paizo brains, he and I gamed together here in New York before he moved out and took that job. And in between then, he created the Pathfinder wiki. And doing that was starting to learn about Galarian, the Pathfinder campaign world. And I think also a good way to demonstrate that he was somebody who got to get things done and was a lot about Paizo. So I've been saying that sadly I just see Mark at Gen Con these days. And something that he and I were talking about last time we were there was that when you're trying to get hired, you think that there's some mystery to it. But once you're looking to hire somebody, it's clear that the number one thing you want is somebody who can just do the things that they say that they can do. And that for Mark, putting together the Pathfinder Wiki was his demonstration of his ability to do that kind of stuff. And here I'm asking Adam whether development's an easier route to being employed full-time in the role-playing business than design. That because you have to do it in-house means you're not competing with part-time freelancers. And Eric, I'll let you take the reply there.
Okay. And it does seem that another important thing with hiring new people in a company this small is knowing how well you'll get along with them or that person on a.
I'm wondering whether playing a role playing game with people as part of the interview process is something they do, as it might be a fast track to knowing how well you'd work together. Don't remember Mark saying that as when he was going out there, but it sure seems like something that might make sense.
I is whole interview process. I already had been freelancing for guys at conventions all the time, hung out with them, had drinks and all that. So they already knew me pretty well before asking me to join the team. Games. I do also have a question pulled from the audience, and I will be posting that here in our chat in just a moment here. I do have a question from Lost Horizon, who asks, as a matter of fact, I wanted to ask some Paizo people if they are producing some kind of epic levels book. Reply is going to be, we just launched the Mythic Adventures playtest this past Wednesday. It's not epic like the 3.5 epic book, but it scratches those same itches. It's more of an augmentation than a 20th level and above type thing. As a final reply, you can go to our website, download the free playtest, and give us some feedback on how you think it looks. And I will link this with our Mibit check folks in the Oxen Mule here. He just gave us a link to that playtest.
So I'm asking here whether Adam uses electronic tools to help him out with development. The Pathfinder wiki seems like something that would help with continuity and maintaining consistency of the game world. And I'm wondering whether there's a similar electronic tool that they use to make sure their stat blocks follow the correct format and don't contain errors.
Answer is, well, we use a crazy Excel spreadsheet that Sean K. Reynolds put together. It helps us make sure that all the numbers line up and everything is where it needs to be. And with Excel, I could probably.
So here I'm asking Adam, what's his favorite thing about doing development work?
A part in all. We like that I have. I was a freelancer, and I like that I have my hands on all real everyone's home and game store. As a general question, am posing is that to those possibly game development or potential down the road, and to have a style that you have the
Adam says, advice. I'm still new to being a pro developer, so I guess any advice I'd have would be the same advice for anyone who wants to do a specific job. Learn what's needed and be exceptional in those areas. I know that's kind of a non-answer, but I don't know any better way to answer. So I'm saying that, as Adam had been saying before, there isn't a freelance market for developers, so that makes it tougher to get started as a developer in-house. But that having been a freelance designer seemed like it had been an important path to it. And then another way into developing that we've been talking about has been fan efforts like the Paizo wiki that Mark Moreland created as a way to master the skills involved in handling continuity and also show off your ability to make things happen.
Adam replies, all of us developers came into this job in a slightly different way.
And now I'm asking whether there's things about the freelancer developer relationship that Adam sees differently now that he's sitting in the opposite seat.
Adam later detail how and why things changed between turning over a manuscript and the book getting released. Sometimes it didn't fit the taste or the world, while other times it's simply a space issue.
Here I'm asking whether there's something that Adam wishes every freelancer he works with would know or do. Whether there's a message that he'd like to get out there.
Uh, Adam replies, I wish that every one of them would send in turnovers that were perfect so I wouldn't have to work as hard. Parentheses, just kidding, but you did say wish. Most everyone I work with gives me good work, otherwise I wouldn't work with them any longer. Which I could definitely agree with. In the meantime, we are getting near the end of our scheduled panel time, so if there's anyone on the Mibit chat currently watching and would like to pose any last questions, I'll be glad to take this time. However, we will be asking our final few questions for Adam in the coming few moments.
I also want to encourage anybody to speak up with questions. I've enjoyed picking Adam's brain, but I'm happy to yield the floor.
At this point, it does look further questions from the audience, so I would like to thank Adam today for coming in and discuss these topics with. I had a great time myself. Tavis did too here, I believe.
Yeah, very much so. And thanks for moderating. Or I guess I'm the moderator. Thanks for facilitating.
Okay. My apologies all. It seems that my feed's kind of cutting in and out here, so I'm hoping we just make it through the end of the next minute or two here. I did not see if there was a reply from Adam in regards to our last conversation there.
He's saying, this has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you all asking me here. I'll likely hang out in the main chat room after this is over in case anyone has any lingering questions.
Okay. Excellent. Sounds good. Adam, I will give you that link to the Ox. All right. At this time, we will be choose third-party publishing with Allen Taisen of Clockwork Moon Publishing and ONKC Stephens of Super Genius Games. And this panel will be moderated by Ryan Costello Jr. yet again. We'll be switching over in just a few moments and be going live. And once again, thank you, Adam.